Year 3151. Location: orbit of the planet Atlas, which is trying to secede from the Human Federation. Captain, what are your orders? The first officer looked up at his commander. Launch the assault ships. I want the enemy capital taken. Let's end this campaign once and for all, ordered Captain Takashi with a steely voice. Aye, sir, the officer saluted and began to carry out the orders. The vast command bridge came to life, firing troops to the planet. Coordinates: 37.7749 degrees north, 122.4194 degrees west. At that moment, the navigator called out with urgency in his voice. I detect approaching ships, 30 in number, lightly armed. Suddenly, numerous red lights began to flash on the main screen. Missiles launched, 100 in number, aimed at us and the assault ships, reported the navigator with tension. Captain Takashi immediately took control. Turn the ship, position between the missiles and our assault ships. All counter-battery systems open fire. Prepare the railgun for firing and inform the flotilla to start shelling. On one of the assault ships, codenamed Poison, Commander James Brown stood before his squad. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day for glory. If we reach our goal, we'll etch our names in history, he said with a broad smile, instilling courage. Medic Juan Carlos called out with a laugh. No worries. If we get hit and I survive, I'll gather you all in a jar, sir. The entire team burst into laughter. Engineer Alexei Ivanovich added, nothing will hit us. I have a debt to the bank. If something goes wrong, they'll send a rescue team for me. Sniper Malin quipped. I hope they've prepared a good welcome for us down there. IT specialist Rahul Sharma replied sarcastically. Don't worry, princess. They've already sent us fireworks. Everyone, brace yourselves. The show's starting, warned the pilot as the ship approached the planet. James interrupted. Enough with the chit-chat. Check your gear and get ready. For glory and for the Human Federation. Hurrah! Hurrah! Echoed the crew in unison. On the command ship Excalibur, the situation grew even more complicated. The navigator reported again. Captain, we detect 2 more objects. According to initial data, destroyers. Captain Takashi closed his eyes for a moment and whispered to himself. Looks like it won't be an easy fight. But where did they get these ships from? He turned to the officers. Inform High Command about the battle's development. The nearest planet should be ready to send reinforcements if necessary, though I don't expect we'll need it. Let's see what these destroyers can do. Though the space attack by the rebels was unsuccessful, while hidden anti-aircraft systems on the planet opened fire on the ships. Chaos ensued. On board the ship codenamed Poison, the pilot shouted, Hold on tight. We're about to be hit. Be ready to jump. The doors began to open, and the squad saw one of the assault ships being split in 2 by anti-air defense. Ready, ordered James, the squad commander. Yes, sir. Everyone responded in unison. At that moment, the ship was hit in one of its engines. It began to burn and fall towards the ground. Over the radio system, they heard, Jump. Jump now. A second later, all 50 soldiers left the ship. As it fell, James spoke over the radio to his platoon. Everyone knows your tasks. We're landing outside the landing zone. Be ready for anything and head towards the new coordinates you're receiving. Rahul saw a soldier from another squad hit by a missile and literally vaporized. He muttered to himself, Damn, damn, damn. Captain James noticed how the pilot of their hit ship directed it towards one of the anti-aircraft installations in a desperate attempt to save as many soldiers as possible. His life was given for their cause. Command Ship Excalibur. The navigator reported to Captain Takashi. Sir, we lost 100 assault ships 30 kilometers from the landing zone. Many soldiers are separated from the main combat group. The captain was furious. How is such a loss possible? Sir, there was well-concealed anti-air defense not detected by radar during the initial bombardment. It's now destroyed. Damn it. Send reinforcements to the stranded groups. Don't expect air support at the moment. The space battle continues. Back on Excalibur, Captain Takashi received more unpleasant reports. Sir, we lost 5 ships from the left flank. Send rescue teams at the first opportunity. Concentrate fire in the center of their formation. Order 20 ships from the left flank to make a tactical retreat. Let's see if they take the bait, then counterattack. Aye, sir. On the planet Atlas, Commander James gathered his squad. Is everyone present? Yes, sir. We have new orders to hold a position 2 kilometers from here. Move out. 1. The squad medic interjected. But, sir, there are many wounded here who need help. I can help them. We have orders to hold certain coordinates. Move out. But, sir, it will be too late for some of our comrades. Let me stay and help those I can. James looked around. Burning trees, metal stuck in the ground, remnants of assault ships. Comrades screaming in pain, calling for help as squads moved to their positions. All right. Stay and help those you can. Rahul will stay with you to watch your back. Everyone else, run to the position we need to defend. Alexei, you lead. Yes, sir. 20 minutes later, battles on the planet and in space were fierce, especially the battle for the capital. Captain Takashi asked, "Have the reinforcements arrived in Zone B?" "They're just landing, sir." "Regroup all forces there and start the offensive at the first opportunity." "Did they fall for the bait we set on the left flank?" "No, sir." No one pursued the retreating ships. Good. They seem to have good commanders, the captain said to himself. Let them regroup and pass on the right. We'll give these rebels a little surprise. And the left side, sir? If anything happens now, we'll go there. I also want fighters sent to the planet to support the assault units. Yes, sir. Back on the planet, Commander James received odd orders and called Rahul. Confirm if these orders are authentic. Just a moment, sir. Yes, they are authentic. We have orders to cease fire and regroup with the rebels. What the hell? Commander. Cease fire immediately. But, sir. Cease fire. Yes, sir. And for a moment, everything went silent. General Muhammad was also puzzled about what was happening and ordered a ceasefire. Back on the Excalibur, 5 minutes earlier, the navigator reported to Captain Takashi. Sir, we have new contacts, 500 Ogron ships. They're opening fire on us and the rebels. The captain responded immediately. Regroup. Contact the Atlas rebels for an immediate cessation of hostilities between us. We can always continue later if they wish, but now is not the time. Give them new coordinates for their fleet's positioning. Use Formation Alpha. Send them the formation data and what's expected of them in this formation. Aye, sir. Also, I want you to connect for reinforcements and declare throughout the Federation that we are at war with the Ogrons. Let High Command take the appropriate measures. Aye, sir. But the interplanetary communication module is down. Send mechanics to fix the problem immediately. In that case, send one ship to inform about what's happening here. But we'll definitely need more reinforcements than expected. Sir, the Ogrons are launching assault ships to the planet, 350 in number. At the same time, we receive data that Atlas is surrendering and will fight the invaders with us. Open fire on the assault ships. Order the ground forces to regroup with the Atlasians and open fire on the approaching Ogrons. Yes, sir. 1 day earlier, central planet of the Ogrons, Kraxalon. This was the day when the Ogron Empire decided to declare war on humans, the small and insignificant beings who until now hadn't even deserved the Emperor's attention. In the throne room, dominated by massive columns of obsidian and gold, Emperor Skordak stood, clad in heavy armor inlaid with skulls of defeated enemies. He cast an icy gaze upon his advisors and commanded, "Is the fleet ready for the new expansion?" "Yes, Your Majesty," replied the strategist. "We expect a swift victory over the humans. With slaves from their colonies, we will multiply our resources." The Emperor smiled, revealing predator-like teeth. "Very well. What is the plan of action?" "The plan, Your Majesty, is to wait a few more days. Currently, the humans are fighting among themselves. Let them self-destruct, and we'll attack when they're most vulnerable." The first wave of 500 ships will strike their planet Atlas. Then we'll start a two-front campaign with 2 more fleets of 500 ships each. With our communication jamming systems, they won't even know they're at war." The strategist's laugh sounded sinister. Emperor Skordax frowned. "If these creatures are so weak, why wait? I want an attack now. We need these resources and slaves immediately. Is that clear?" "Yes, Your Majesty," all bowed. "How long will it take to conquer their so-called federation?" "No more than 2 cycles, but if we increase the number of ships to 5,000, we can finish the operation in 1 cycle." "Excellent. I want the campaign concluded within a year. After that, the construction of my new palace must begin." The Emperor turned to the diplomat in the room. "What will the Galactic Federation do?" "Nothing, Your Majesty. They know it's better not to interfere." "And why aren't the humans part of this federation?" The diplomat smiled slyly. "They showed interest initially, but then withdrew. They didn't approve of the slave trade, high tariffs, and restrictions on scientific research. Didn't approve of slavery, haha. Then, who builds on their planets? Do they have allies? Just a few minor alliances, but they're not significant." Skordax roared. "Then the war begins tomorrow." The room erupted in applause and shouts. For Ogron, glory, glory, present time back on the planet. Until moments ago, the warring factions were fighting each other, but now they would fight together against the approaching new danger. A large part of the troops couldn't believe what was happening and how this was possible. They were enemies. There was chaos and confusion, but the issued orders were followed, and firing began at the new designated targets. Assault Zone A. General Muhammad, after receiving full information, said to himself, "God help us," and began issuing new orders. All anti-aircraft systems opened fire at the new coordinates. Artillery, crush the threats upon landing. All units, advance to the city. Our new goal is to defend it. I want tank brigades from the left and right ready for an offensive. Move the shield and field hospital to the capital. Forward. Location. Zone B. Squad Poison. Commander James looked at the information panel and initially didn't believe his eyes. The first few seconds were shocking, but then he said, "Squad, we have new orders, new enemies. This isn't new to us. Are you familiar with the Ogrons?" "Yes, sir. This is our new enemy, and now we'll work with the Atlasians." "But, sir?" "No, but." "These are the new orders. Our new mission is to protect a bunker of scientists 10 kilometers from our location. This explains everything, why there was such a vicious battle in this otherwise insignificant forest. Everyone forward. Double time. What are you waiting for, monkeys? Forward." At the same time, anti-aircraft systems began their barrage nearby. Surviving tanks and artillery moved to their new positions. The chaos of the battlefield transformed into an organized offensive against the new threat. The main Ogron ship, Malahas, Admiral Kraxalon observed the unfolding battle through the vast windows of the command bridge. Space was filled with blinding flashes of explosions and lightning-fast trails from laser weapons. The situation was tense, but Kraxalon remained calm. "Sir, there's concentrated fire against our assault ships," reported one of the officers. His face showed concern, but his voice was firm. "I want them protected at all costs," ordered the Admiral with an unwavering tone. "Also, I observe a regrouping of the enemy fleet. It doesn't matter. Continue the firing. For now, the most important thing is to protect our assault ships." The officers on the bridge nodded in acknowledgement and immediately set about executing his commands. Kraxalon turned to the tactical analyst, who was carefully watching his screen. "What is that?" asked the Admiral. "It is a very weak signal coming from these coordinates on the planet." "It's underground," replied the analyst, pointing to the greenish-lit map of the surface. Kraxalon thought for a moment, then issued a new command. "Divert several assault ships to this location. I want to know what's there." His silhouette was imposing against the backdrop of the space battle. His voice echoed confidently again. "In this battle, there will be no prisoners or slaves taken. Let's show them what awaits the next planet if it doesn't surrender immediately upon our arrival. The bridge buzzed with activity as the officers carried out the Admiral's latest orders. Malahouse was preparing to demonstrate its ruthless power, and Craxelon was determined to lead his people to victory, regardless of the cost.